Okay? We are about to take a break. No, there's no break. My bad. We are directly going into the next topic, and I'd like to tell you that this software of auditing that we are about to introduce has been cooking for a while, so I urge you to use it. It is an auditing software which has then concentrated efforts for years. This software got started, and maybe you recall, or maybe some of you have used along with Core Audit. So yes, it is very important to mention also the support of our friend in Venezuela, Richard Ponce, who has given us full support in this development. And as you know, for 2 years, 2 years ago, we presented it, and it has had several other modules incorporation, and for the time being is now available on our intranet, the 2.0 version incorporating other modules. And mainly and most important is that this software contains the full methodology of UC&CS, that is to say the manuals that were to be read and retrieved in Excel and Word formats are now incorporated to the software in full, including the last version of such manuals. And we are going to see that later on, the manuals that the firm has, but I would like to anticipate that this software contains that updated methodology. Miguel Angel is going to present the new modules. Next, I had the chance to participate in this development for these last 3 years, but this is the teamwork involving many people and time. And now we are going to see, with the help of Miguel Angel, to show very briefly the main module and also the other modules that have been added for this new version. Yes, thank you very much. And first of all, I would like to ask you, how many of you have downloaded this software? All of you? Many? Let's see how you can download this new version. We have already used new accounts, and let me show you what is the process in order to download from the UCSC, the UC&CS website. We're going to see the downloading process step by step. And we're going to have the downloading process, and then we're going to have a summary. I've been using this software in my firm, this type of software, and let me tell you that is quite good. There are other aspects like expenses that still need correction, that because they should be according to every country and every entity and company. So we need to make them suitable, but apart from that, this software has proven to be very useful with the ABC of the auditor, how we are supposed to fill out the analytic summary and how it should be, the header, the type of work and engagement, the dates, everything, the people involved, everything this auditing report should contain is already included in the software. Unfortunately, I've seen that maybe they don't have this in place, and I call it the ABC of the auditor because that's how I got started 40 years ago, and I could not file anything if it was not in full. Now let's proceed to the downloading process. As you know, I have my son Fernando here in order to support me and support us. So first of all, I have here my son who is going to show us. I need to share the screen. Maybe you can help me with that. First of all, we go into the UC&CS global website. We go to the members tab for intranet access. In here, we are asked the user and the password, and this is supplied by the firm. Each one of us would have the user and password specs. We are writing here our case, and once we've entered our user and password, we are then sent to this screen, and we have ARBASOFT, and this has been updated up to now. And here we have the quick guide. It has been updated on August 25th. We have 3 options. The first one would be to unload the program. Then we have the quick installation guide and the user's manual. Let's download the software, and we are going to accept it. And now we are proceeding to downloading, and here we have the downloading process going on, and this would depend upon the capacity of each computer. And in our case, we have just acquired this computer. We have one that is quite quick because it is new, and downloading software would not take long. And since we are talking about the fixed asset investment, we know that we need to update and upgrade our equipment in order to become more efficient in revising anything we might need. And once the downloading process has been completed, we are led by default to UC&CS. This is the downloading folder, and once we have decompressed it, then we can place it in any file we think is the proper one. We have, in our case, Windows C, and we have incorporated it in there, and it says WAUCCS. That's where we are going to install it. WA means Word Audit, WA. And then we can get here the modules, the main module, and all the way down to 21. We have the user's manual in Spanish and in English. The user's manual, if you want, You can read it right here. It's at the beginning. We go into the user's manual in Spanish, and that's where we can also retrieve and read what the software is all about. This is the table of contents, and I'm just scrolling it down. This manual is composed by 120 pages, and here it is. We have here this illustration. In the past, we could fill out our reports in handwriting. We had the catalog of accounts of the client, for instance, and we had also the reports A, B, C, and D, and we have receivables, inventories, anticipated payments, the liabilities, and for each we have different uses and meanings, including worksheets. I know this pretty well. We have the financial statements, and this report is also about the sampling for auditing purposes. This is what we have as the content of our report. So now let's go to the practical aspect. Due to time constraints, you can check it later within your own pace and time availability. Can you get to see our screen, Sergio? Are you visualizing the screen? Yes. We see that you have already downloaded it and it is installed in your computer. Yes, thank you, Sergio. WP is working papers, and you can change it, of course, but in here I am adding UC&CS. What I have here is the general balance. And I'm going to use these reports to fill out my auditing reports. And in the main menu, as I open it up, we have the first step in order for us to get this clean screen of our software. And practically, as the first step, we are going to add our accounts planning. It is totally new. This is a new creation company. Because of default parameters, we have here some accounts that have been pre-established, but this is the same as the accounts catalog with the incorporation in the last version, and you can find here all the incorporated accounts. And we have here the current cost of accrued depreciation, for instance. And also we have the current cost depreciation for us to acknowledge. Here we have the leasing. And then we will be easily showing this type of accounts independently. So the first step is for us to open our work paper. The trial balance, or it is going to be opened in short. So this is our accounts plan. We have the financial statements by the client, which are going to be incorporated for the first time here. And I would just like to show you before that we have incorporated these statements from the client. And as you can see, we have here the usage rights due to leasings. That's within the accounts plan of the company, within the non-current assets or fixed assets, that we always call them like that, is not wrong at all. And also the non-current liability. In this case, we are using the leasing option. Non-current liability due to leasings. And within our current liability, we have already incorporated our account, and we are going to color it. And we should never erase the accounts, otherwise it is going to create confusion. This is Excel, so I can just unmake the action. We need to be very careful, because those who are not experienced in handling Excel would not be able to then use the software as they should. Now let's go to work papers. We should open the report so we can then get it to ARBASOFT. I call it the final balance. This is where we can get to see the financial statements from the client 2018, 2019, the accounts plan, the financial statements by the client before updating the software, and then I have the ARBASOFT information. So then we can have the trial balances in place. And as you can see, I have here the possibility of extracting these trial balances from the client. And in the upper portion, I have here the option of getting the addition of several accounts. Like, for instance, the clients of labor or automobiles, we have been able to fuse them in a single account. And also in here, I can also use the formula because this is very useful for information extraction. And lastly, I would do that also in ARBASOFT, sorry. And we can also type information ourselves if we want. You can also write here 500 or the amount, the useful amount. You can always type it yourself. So in this case, what we are going to do is that if we have opened balances already, what we are going to do, and since we have already incorporated the new accounts from the company, we are now going to add these other accounts. We need to then select them so we can then paste. This is just Excel function. I can then from Excel take it to the accounts plan. So then I can start acknowledging the account numbers. The only thing we need to do is to paste it. We just paste the accounts. It is already prepared, and this is how we may paste it. Very simple. And in the menu, we are going to fill out the ABC of auditor, establishing that we need to fill out the report so identification might be possible. And let's not forget that the reports should be speaking by themselves. Here we have the client code. For the time being is UC&CS. And then I can specify the contract of the client. This is an auditing conducted up to December 31st, 2019. So we also have the date today. The MP, it means that we are in the main menu, but this is an acronym in Spanish. We also have the signature code. Let's write one. In here we have the firm, the name of every accounting firm. This is the number of my firm. The currency, in this case, is Mexican pesos. Maybe someone could ask and say, well, in Mexico, we are using just a sign, but since this is for the world, maybe we are talking about Mexican pesos or Argentinian pesos. Let's see what happens if we write it like that. Or you can write MXN to identify that these are Mexican pesos. I will please you for sure. And then we have conveyed that this is in Mexican pesos. MXN is your proposal, so I'm going to write it here in currency. So it is going to be MXN, right? Yes, you're right. So then let's see how reflection goes. In here we have the MXN. If this is the US, then we would be using American dollars, USD or dollars. That's your choice. Let's use only pesos. And we can also give like 3 spaces in order to fill our report out very elegantly. And these are the standards in general or for SMEs. And what is the language that we would be using for these financial statements? Is this going to be Spanish or English? And we have our reports in English. Obviously, if we are speaking English, it is going to be USD. Or maybe you write dollars like DLLS or USD. So it's it's your call. You will decide whether to use one or the other. And for our teaching and protocol purposes, we are going to use the pesos, Mexican pesos, MXN. And then we can go to financial statements, and that's how we filled out our auditing report. The ABC, as I was saying, would require that our documents would speak for themselves. And we have here that this is for 2018 and 2019, and we have already entered the new accounts, and then I would have to fill out one by one. And yes, you can do it like that. And in this case, sorry for the music, but it was not my idea. Please give him some money for him to move somewhere else. So these are the accounts pertaining to the company, okay? And initially, we had this account. What we need to do is to fill out the rest of the accounts. Yes? Now let's go back to our balance. And for that purpose, without filling one by one, we ask it very carefully, because there are credit and also debt accounts. So I would just need to paste it with a Control-V command, and this is how everything would tally. And I got the tally right. And then, in this case, we have the usage rights due to leasings. I did not enter anything now, but you can do it for your auditing adjustments, or you can do it from the balance accounts, whatever you've decided. I didn't write anything because I promised the auditing, and now I'm going to use from my software the incorporation option, or maybe you can do it yourselves if you use these accounts. Yes? This is how I filled out. But what is the secret? I need to fill my trial balance in Excel, and then I would be using the ARBASOFT detail and check it very carefully. Some people would call up and then they would say, well, I cannot tally it, and you have to be very careful with the plus and minus for the addition consideration, and this is what we need to be very careful with. And also, I was going to tell you that in the case of, let me see, here it is. We have here the accounts of our fixed assets. And this is an adjustment. These are the regular accounts, the current cost for buildings, machinery, equipment, adjustment due to inflation in goods and assets, the adjust for depreciation, and these are all the accounts we have here in a catalog. And this is where we are going to get started with our own accounts. Accounts for the use right due to leasing. And this is how you will be checking yourselves how the new accounts will be coming up according to determinations in 2019 and the new standard that came into effect just last year. And in here, we have now to enter this new right of use. So please, now I am coloring in green for piece of land leasing. The current cost for the right of use, and also we have another one that is for equipment and furniture or fittings. And also pieces of land. We can get to see that and how we have depreciation, the machinery and equipment. And as Sergio was telling us, we can then get all the accounts displayed as they were incorporated to our ARBASOFT, so we could then have a little bit more of agility and swiftness for financial statements to be prepared. And we are good auditors and accountants. We have our tally 00. And sorry for my coughing. And in the menu, the main menu, we have already filled it out. Now we're going to save it. And for that, let's use our commands. In the upper screen, we have something that is called complemento or supplement. Yes. So in supplements, we have this module. The upper left, down next, is the compiler with which we structured this software. This is the compiler I integrated. That's something you might not have, but you will have this one, application UC&CS. And what we are going to do is that we are going to export it into data. I have already opened one, and I'm going to save it. You are going to follow that same procedure. Since I have already saved it, it is asking me if I want to overwrite it, and I will say yes. And then export was correctly made. So we have already saved our work paper. That is the main menus piece. So now we are going to open another menu, another auditing paper that is called the 17th, as I was saying before, the working papers, the summary reports, and also the working papers. And this is module number 17. I'm going to open it up. And we have the database in our main menu. What is the database? We are talking about our trial balance from the client. That's where we are going to extract the full information for the rest of the reports. We have already opened this up. This is module 17. And in order to extract information, we need to open and you will see import data, we're going to import it from the main one in order to get the information extracted and get it pasted in the financial statements. In financial statements pertaining to work papers, this is another module, and I have here the financial statements already pasted from module number 17. Information has already been pasted for me to keep on working. So this is the area of summary per auditing area. So then I can then get these reports already completed. The reports have already been filled out, and I don't have here the name of the client. It is just the type of the report that I have in display. What I need to do is to fill out the information on the client. So this is number one, what the client is. And this is going to be just an example, UC&CS. I'm typing it. Or as Juan Carlos was saying, I like the short names of companies, like the case of Bimbo. This is just an example. And the name, of course, would vary, and it's okay. We are just giving the headers information. This is the auditing up to December 31st, 2019. And when did we prepare this report? This was October 8, 2020. These are summary for the reference and the code of the client. But in this case, this is the auditor's information. What is the language that we are using? We can choose English or Spanish. And this is how we get everything into English. Effects and accounts receivable, the inventories, prepaid expenses, investment in associated joint ventures and other permanent investments. And this is how we can then get to see the information. The currency, what is the currency we are handling in this case? It might be in Mexican pesos. And for that, I would be needing the spec for that. In this case, we are in Mexico. We are using the Mexican example with MXN. In Mexico, we are using the full IFRS. And what is the process about? We are going to get started, or are we under process? This is under process. And this is for our detailed trial. We can also say that it has been completed. Let's see if our work paper tallies, and also we have a tally here. It is right there. It is 0 tally. And maybe there was a small, tiny, intentional mistake for everyone to then have a topic to ask about. If you don't call me up, that means that you haven't experienced everything. And that's how we are going to find out if you've gone through the ABC first step, that is to fill out the trial balance in the main menu. Then we need the summary reports, and then we would be developing the auditing itself. Of course, we need to visit all the modules for us to get to know the the field, no? So this right now we are in module 17. What happens if I decide to opt for module 18? Let's open it up, and I'm going to show it to you, even though I skipped the second step, and sorry if I'm going too fast, but we only have 1 hour available. In here, we have here module 18 already opened. Let's see the accounts plan. There's nothing because we haven't given any input just yet. Nothing. But let's do it. How can we do so? We need to pull it from supplements, the main menu. We're going to import data. Once again, we are going to import it. It is pretty important for you to know where the information is located. I have placed it all, in my case, in UC&CS. I have it in data, but it is the UC&CS folder, and we need 1 folder per client. We can import this menu. We import the data. It has been done successfully. Let's check the financial statements are already there. In module 18, we have financial statements. Have you seen? I've already opened 3 modules. The main menu, 17 work papers and summaries, and also the financial statements from the client. As you can see, we need to fill out once again data in the header, as we know this should be fully filled out. What happens in financial statements, we can get to see how the general balance is right here. The balance sheet is right here. This is the full asset visualization. If you want to convey in different units, it could be thousands, it could be millions. Unit, thousands, millions are the options. You can then display it, and if I have huge sales, then I can convey it accordingly, and according to the revenues and the activity. Then I have selected here the thousands or the millions. And then I go back to the main menu, and in the main menu we have the work paper conveyed properly, and this is how I can then get this module in the financial statements. Of course, this is how I can get 2019 visualized, and these are the accounts that are included in that module. So let's go back to the main menu, and in here I would be asking you to fill out the ABC of the auditor practically for you to get the proper information. And in here we have here the special IPC. Like for instance, in the case of 2019, we have here 2 indexes as of 2019, and this is taking us automatically to 2019 with the conversions, the estimations, the updating factors being used in Mexico, and IPC is Consumption Prices Index. And I'd like to see another module. We have already filled out, for instance, module number 17 with these new names, and what we are going to do next is that we are going to save this file. And we're going to change our name here, UC&CS. And here in supplements, the first step would be to import, but the second step implies to export to save this module number 17 in data UC&CS, and module 17 has not been included yet. That's why we are exporting it, and it has been successfully. Yes, we accept it. We have already filed it. And here, within all of this, we have sampling, we have the internal control, the auditing adjustment. We are going to check another module that is this one, module A. This process is going to be conducted by you with a whole circle of financial statements auditing, and once you master it, you will see how easy it is. It would be like any other auditing software. Well, yes, but no, because this pertains to our firm and it is according to our needs. There are many other softwares out there that could be deemed as pretty good, but any software would be just as good as the input and the way we use it. Yes? So now let's open module A, that is cash. And I repeat, depending upon the speed of your computer, is going to be displayed quickly or slower. Yes. I have now here the module of cash and its equivalents. We have nothing with the financial statements because for the time being is clean, nothing there just yet. And as you know, we have all the accounts of the trial balance incorporated in the main menu already. So what is the process for us to give input to it? We are going to ask for getting the trial balance within the main menu. Here it is. I need to import that data, and I'm going to check if it has been filled out in terms of the accounts, and this is for cash and its equivalents. We are going to fill out with the full data as it is asked in the report for this cash and equivalents. And I will write here the name of the client, UC&CS, and the contract is going to be referred to as number 1, auditing December 31st, 2019, and the date would be this preparation date today, October the 8th, 2020, and this is summary report called A, the code of our firm. And in here, I am writing the name of our firm, and the type of the currency is going to be MXN. And I also need to determine what principles I'm going to apply herein. So we have here our header perfectly well. Now let's check, because this is everything we are to do within each one of the summaries. We need the assessment rules, the summary report banks, and the concepts. And here we are going to open up the reports, the work papers. We have Spanish or English. I will be choosing Spanish in my case. And here we have the content, the IFRS, page number 2. So this is how I can access to it. Number 6 would give us the everything in regards to this standard, and we have already gave consideration to these guidelines. And then we have the disclosing rules, the auditing objectives, the procedures, conclusion, and let's go to bank reconciliation. And I have already pre-filled it out, and this is how I'm going to determine that I'm going to be using this bank. First, I still need to fill out the header, so I'll go back. In here, I will write the same account number that is included in the accounts catalog. This is from Bancomer. Bancomer is the name of the bank, and the type is savings or current account, the number of the account. In here I will be writing 888, and in here the date, the status, and this is going to be up to December 31st, 2019, for instance, the status. Is it going to be initiated, or is it under process or completed? And in here, we have here the reconciliation. This is the initial reconciliation date. The type, it is current, the number of the account, 8888. And the ABC of the auditor is that now every transfer is going to be here recorded, and this is the balance according to the information given by the bank. And you can then now see how at the moment I complete my report, I will get the reconciliation approval by the software if it does tally. And this is just the cash and the bank's consideration. And Sergio, I believe this is it. We can also export it, of course. We need to export it, and we go to data, UC&CS. Please, we don't have this module, but now we do, since we have already saved it. It has been successfully completed. We can then save our reports. We've saved them. We're going to save this one as well, module 18. And if you already had it, and this is how we can use it, import data, export data, and we can overwrite. And then the main menu is going to be saved as well. And now we can check what we have right now in data. Module 1, the main menu, number 2, 17 as well, the summary reports, and also the financial statements. And number 2 is cash and banks. This means module A for cash and banks. And pretty quick, it was just an introduction. I don't think we have enough time for the full auditing process, but for the sake of time, we would be concluding like this. We still have 8 minutes. We can then have 10 minutes more for you to tell us about the new integrations to this software, as you were mentioning in regards to quality, statistics, and financial statements has already been seen, but for those who have been already using this software, they would like to see that in this version we have new integrations and upgrades, like in the case of statistics, quality control, and also the new accounts that were emerging due to standard number 16. Yes, for sure. We have the quality control. This is the main menu, and the same story will repeat. This is the code of our firm. In our case, it's going to be 1. The name of the firm, the client, UC&CS. I always fill them up so we won't lose them. And this is October the 8th. This is the UC&CS, but in terms of the quality control system in financial auditing, the main menu. Just look at everything we have incorporated. We have here the associate, and also the confidentiality statement, the acceptance process by clients, the commitments, allocation, conclusions, what criteria we are going to use in order to assign each type of auditing, the responsible for such assignments, and what kind of personnel we are assigning, and also the safeguards with our working papers. This is quite important, this last line, because these safeguards are now digital. Since they are digital, we need to use a digitization criteria where we need to incorporate it or propose. And if I may, I have already prepared something, and yesterday I saw that I was missing that, so I wanted to prepare it for the safeguards of our working papers. Here it is. I don't see it anymore. I'm not finding it that easy. And here it is very important. I am already preparing requirements for safeguarding our working papers, and today, 2 a.m., I realized that I was missing that and that it should be added to our quality control system, how we are going to save the paperwork, the work papers. We know that there is a password, like in the case of accounting, you have each one of the managers to get their own access for inventory control, for instance, for paying suppliers, for tax paying, and we want to introduce a key and password for those who would be entitled to handle ARBASOFT, and it is quite easy to use. As you have already seen, it is quite amicable, and if it's for us to use it as auditors, then we can base ourselves in our knowledge in Excel. That is the main format we are handling. So the safeguard of possible conflicts, potential conflicts to independence. So in here, as I was saying, we have the main menu and the quality control menu, and we are here reviewing the commitment quality control. This is very important because we need to verify the quality control in our work papers and the interventions, and we need everything in written, and it should be duly documented in written or digital. I suggest digital version, so then we can actually get more familiarity with Excel's handling. What we are seeing is sheer Excel, no other software. The software was prepared based on Excel, and this is how we are going to answer. And we are going to give check marks or saying yes if we are compliant, and these are the conclusions. In the end, if we are approved by quality control, and we have options, we have yes, no, and not applicable. Yes, and then it should be then approved by quality control. Quality control. That's what we have observed in terms of quality control. And in here we have an implementation guide for the quality control from phase 1 to phase 8. This is the manual and the status. And in here we need to confirm or not confirmed. That is the manual of the quality control. We need the confirmation. For human resources, we need to also give confirmation that it does exist. The manual of policies and procedures, does it exist or not? And who is going to confirm and who is going to approve, because these policies should be in place. And also, if we have the auditing manual, the manual about positions, profiles, and roles, and this is how we would be able to implement our own quality control. If you get to have this type of applications, then everything should be filled out. Otherwise, you can always retrieve the manuals, and if we go to the main menu, we'll be able to see the requirements and what are the addendums. What is the addenda? We have the independence from the associates and personnel. We have these texts in Spanish, in English. Let's open it up because it is a protocol to take into account. I believe that some links are not working that well, but don't you worry, because UC&CS is included in formats. So anyway, you may download them right here. The links are not working that well, as I was saying. And, of course, you will be very patient. And this is how we are now visualizing it. We have here data. In here we have all the formats you would like. This is where you will find all the formats. And this is how you may download them, both English or Spanish. And these are the standards. The applicable ones are all listed here. So then we can go back to the main menu. So this was a very quick view of ARBASOFT in regards to quality control. And now I would have to show you, as Sergio was asking, the other upgrades we've had. Yes, the assets due to usage rights. We can then just filter them, filtering the yellow color, and these are the ones that were considered for usage right. It could be for land, buildings, the adjustments, if you would like to verify them, you would just have to get your ARBASOFT and you will visualize them in the main menu section. Okay, Miguel Angel, that's been a very good explanation. Thank you for your time, everything you've given in terms of training courses and so on for this software to improve. And of course, the upgrades are also upcoming. So what is the next step for this software? What do you think that might be? Well, the next step for this software, well, the first step for everyone is to get it installed and also to tell us about mistakes detected. And if you don't put it under trial, you will never know if it works or not, because it does. And once you have already installed it, we are going to then impart the training courses for 2020. By this time, we would be acknowledging the standards from 2016. And the next thing would be to give you a training course requiring 4 hours, maybe September 30th, 2020, with the incorporation of the new accounts that we are obliged to carry. That'll be the next step, I believe, the course for adaptation and keeping on improving. And of course, as we mentioned before, we need to incorporate the order account. So that'll be the next step within the suitability. We would have to incorporate those accounts as well. And the third step would be to introduce a paperwork module on 2016. Yes, that's what we are trying. We are just getting started with a small committee. And the last step that I see, the step that would also pertain to the first one, would be the adjustment with some matches we have in terms of the historic balance and also according to IFRS. That's the module we are working on. Yes, thank you very much for your support. And now, just to conclude, and in general terms, according to this software, I would like to mention this once again. This software, as you've already said, Miguel Angel, is something tailored especially for ourselves, because we've gathered all the needs we've detected in order to then depict such needs and the way we are giving response by means of this software. And as you've mentioned, initially it's a software that is working and I would like to mention Richard Ponce due to his great efforts. He's not an accountant himself, but he knows pretty well everything in regards to financial information. He's understood pretty well everything we've wanted out of this software, and those who have already used it will see how we've upgraded this software, not only in terms of the summary reports that could be executed with any Excel spreadsheet, but we are actually incorporating risk planning, everything in regards to the manuals. The auditing manual is included in full, and we are going to see this in detail. And the institutional manuals by UC&CS. One of the new ones would include the quality control lines, and this has been a great effort from all of us. The manuals on quality control and auditing would entail many people, and I know that in quality control we've had the support of good people upgrading it, and also the auditing team. Many other people have been supporting us, and what we did was to integrate it to a software. Thank you very much. I do hope that this is sufficiently convincing to you for you to use this software. Everyone participating here, Hugo and many others. And just to mention, and please remember that the software is in English and Spanish for those associates that are English speaking. We have the IFRS translation format. We are now completing the simultaneous